English Electric Lightning T5, which is a vertical takeoff jet plane that does Mach 2 up to the edge of space. And I remember feeling slightly amazed that somebody thought there was a business in selling joyrides in ultra-high-speed jet planes to rich people. And there is. And it got me thinking about the last major business revolution in cycling, when in the early 70s, surely nobody could have thought you could have made a business out of putting gears on overgrown BMXs and selling them to grown-ups. And there's one pivotal piece of inspiration in 1817. A guy called Carl von Drees had this idea that you could put two cartwheels in front of each other and connect them with a bit of wood and a pivoting mechanism, and you could ride it down the road. But there were two other inspirations that take us from Carl von Drees' amazing machine to the modern bike. Historians are still arguing about who put cranks on a wheel. Lallemant claimed to have been inspired by a passing Drees that he'd seen in the streets of Paris. And that's the first recorded example of the bicycle inspiring its own evolution. And my God, don't we see a lot of that now? Track bikes inspiring fixies, choppers inspiring street bikes. What really made a difference was the spoked wheel. And I'm now going to get ridiculously nerdy because I still can't think about the properties of a tension spoked wheel without getting excited. How sad is that? It's just... But the very best bicycle wheels have still got some sort of human touch to finish them off. And that's lovely to me. The bicycle, laid on those foundations, inspires a really special passion because it uniquely combines sport, recreation, transportation. These days, what I'm finding inspirational is the power that cycling has to transform people's lives. My favourite current example is a guy called Clive Chapman, who's battling his way down from being a 22-stone couch potato through cycling. What I believe is if we can inspire more people to choose to ride because it's fun, and because it's healthy, because it's a quicker way to get around their cities, and because it's a truly amazing way of seeing the countryside, and because nothing tastes better than beer at the end of a long, hard summer ride, then we can unlock the full potential of the beautiful machine.
The purpose of this talk is to give you kind of a potted history of my cycling career and the support that it's kind of lent me and the way that it's been a signpost for a lot of the decisions that I've made. As John pointed out, worked for Carhartt for the last 8 years, lived in London for the last 12. Once I'd kind of learned to ride that bike, once I'd got the freedom of actually getting away from my parents, that release is something I still feel today just by getting on the bike and heading out. 7 years sort of riding BMX fairly seriously in cities all over the world, in places that I'd never have ended up as a tourist on foot. Through road cycling too, which is a love to which I'm returning now, the aspect of watching the seasons change and kind of actually tonic for getting out of London is something that I would be truly lost without. Falling off, getting covered in mud, and the glee of kind of mountain biking then developed. So after I finished my degree, I vowed that I'd do something I was really passionate about. So I just found myself going to a bike shop and inquiring if they had any work. It actually introduced me to road bikes at the time. As soon as we started going out training, I suddenly understood a little bit of the beauty of the sport, desperately trying to hold on whilst he tried to disappear up every single hill. For some reason I actually found that really enjoyable. I did road cycling first and then regressed and ended up on a BMX when I was 21 and adored it. It definitely made London a place that I could actually continue to exist. We went on numerous road trips and returning to that point of kind of flying around Berlin, getting completely lost, looking for things to ride, wondering where we were. It's something which the kind of memories I would never find myself in that position if it wasn't for my bike. And it was the one thing I wanted to do before I kind of hung my bike up. I'd always gotten better on sort of dirt jumping trails and skate parks, and I'd never been a particularly good street rider, though I enjoyed just kind of wandering around my head in the clouds. desperately wanted to do a handrail before I sort of hung up my BMX. So I ended up doing that, and then the relief of actually having sort of got my head round diving down a set of stairs numerous times before I actually got it together to do it properly. There's a real change in the air in the UK in terms of the way we approach cycling. Ruler, a title which you may have come across being another, in terms of showcasing fantastic photography and wonderful writing, and I suddenly realised it was time to get back on a road bike. I had no idea why, and so that was last April, and now I find myself utterly obsessed with yet another facet of cycling. So the thing with road riding that I adore is it gives me the ability to go away for 3 hours on my own, literally on my own, in my own mind. It really is a complete tonic for London life, and I think especially for a rural transplant like myself, something that I would be stuck without.
Harry and I, we go on a little trip down to Cornwall each year, and anyway, on the way back to Penzance, the railway station, a year and a half ago, I said to Harry, so if you just sort of carried on cycling, I wonder how long it would take to get back to the same spot if you just carried on around the coast. When you told like 4 or 5 people, they all said, oh, you've got to do it, you know. And then you're doing it, so you get this little tipping point, I think, with about 5 or 6 people that suddenly you are doing it. And she said it was 7,000 miles, but I don't know, I've noticed people up the numbers actually. And I met the guy who's the marketing manager of Brooks Saddles, who I really like, this Italian guy called Andrea. And I went to visit the factory, and I made this little film in the factory. It's a fantastic place in the West Midlands, and I do have this kind of hate of cars. I just really never like them, don't like being in them, don't like how you feel at the end of the journey. And everything about a bike is the opposite. I could do it in 100 days, which is sort of 50 miles a day. But then I kind of thought, it'd be really interesting to see how much you could do on a bike. It was brilliant because I kind of went back to just really simple photography again. And then I thought I'd kind of do the tweeting thing, because I could see how I could use that as kind of like a diary. So I had this idea of kind of meeting people that had like a passion for something. So I called them artisans, what could be cheese makers or weavers, basket makers, and fishermen, anyone really. So the reason for that is because I thought I'm quite interested in the sort of charity thing. I love that thing of like we're here tonight we're raising money for sort of great cause, and so my brother's got Parkinson's disease. So I thought that would be a good thing to raise money for. Just going back to the films. So the other thing I wanted to do was kind of edit them and upload them as I went. Started looking at places I could stay, people I could stay with, artisans, kind of people I could meet. And then obviously as I was kind of going, Harry was kind of adding things to it. So Harry was kind of managing really. Basically each day I had a little GPS Garmin 605 thing, and basically you can upload the route every night. So that's a little close up. And what I really like about it is that it's so detailed that you can see where I went wrong and everything. So I went down the road and I was like, it's not right. So I kind of start here, and the end of the first day there would be a little blue line there and then there and there, and so it kind of built up as it went along. And other vlogs, people would kind of, and it kind of went all over the shop. But it made about 80 in the end. And I just love doing it.
Talking with the people, seeing the countries would also be alone, and I have a lot of time to think.
I really liked all the accents, so as you went round, the accents kind of changed.
I quite enjoy it. Enjoy the company that comes and goes.
So they're just great, and you can imagine it's sort of just inspirational really, and sort of unexpected.